The house felt unnervingly quiet. A heavy, unnatural stillness hung in the air, too dense for a place that once thrummed with the everyday sounds of life. It was well past midnight, and Hannah, my wife, still hadn't returned. A tight, gnawing anxiety twisted in my gut, one I tried to ignore but couldn't shake. She'd mentioned a work dinner earlier, her tone too smooth, rehearsed, too careful to sound natural. I checked my phone again. No calls, no texts, only the cold, glowing screen and a silence that pressed like fog. Every tick of the wall clock echoed loudly in the dimly lit living room where I waited. Minutes crawled by until, finally, just after 2 a.m., the low hum of her car reached the driveway. My chest constricted, heart hammering. Relief flickered, and then dread. The front door creaked open. Keys jingled. Her heels clicked softly on the hardwood. The rustle of her jacket. She moved like someone unsure if she was welcome. From the shadowed living room, I watched her. Her outline faintly lit by the orange glow of the streetlight outside. She paused in the doorway, hesitant, uncertain. I flipped the light on. She froze, breath caught, eyes wide as if caught sneaking in late. Her calm shattered instantly. A step back, face paling, mouth opening, searching for an excuse that wouldn't come. "Late night," I said quietly, voice too even. Reclining in the armchair, glass of scotch in hand, my gaze remained fixed, unmoving. She swallowed hard, throat tight under her own tension. "I told you it was a work dinner," she murmured. "Understood," I replied simply, raising my glass. I sipped slowly, letting the silence thicken like smoke. Strange though. Most work dinners don't leave lipstick stains on another man's collar. Her expression faltered. Her hand rose instinctively to her throat, brushing the faint smear of her own lipstick, still visible, still betraying her. The air turned dense, heavy with unspoken truths. "Daniel," she began, voice cracking. "I can explain." "Don't," I said, rising gently, setting the glass down. The soft clink rang far too loudly in the suffocating stillness. My movements were deliberate, yet my thoughts swirled like a storm beneath calm. I stepped forward. She stepped back, as if a foot of space could shield her from what was coming. "Don't insult me by pretending there's an explanation I'd believe. Who is he?" She opened her mouth, closed it, tried again. Nothing. Silence thickened. Cornered, exposed. "I made a mistake," she finally whispered, tears spilling faster than words. "It didn't mean anything, Daniel. It was stupid. I regret it. Do you think that makes it better?" My voice sharpened, thin and dangerous like glass shards. "That it meant nothing. That you threw away everything we built for nothing." Her cheeks streamed with tears, mascara running like war paint melting in defeat. "Please," she begged. "It was a mistake. We can fix this. I love you." Love. That word struck like a punch. Love didn't creep into someone else's bed. Love didn't return home soaked in another man's scent. Love didn't lie so carelessly. Love was sacred, and she had torn it apart as if it meant nothing, as if she'd never be found out. I stepped past her, reaching for my coat. Panic flashed across her face. "Where are you going?" she demanded. "Don't wake up," I said, not looking back. That night I didn't sleep. I wandered empty streets, tracing landmarks of shared memories. The park where she first said she loved me, the bakery for Sunday breakfast, the corner where we danced, drunk in the rain. Each memory cut deeper. Her betrayal burned raw. But before dawn, grief morphed into something sharper. Purpose. She thought she left me ruined, but she never knew who she married. She believed she could burn everything we had and walk away untouched. She miscalculated. Returning home, the house was silent, too silent. Whether she slept or pretended didn't matter. I had a plan. In the weeks that followed, I played the part she expected. Hurt but hopeful, a man open to forgiveness. I told her I needed space, that maybe something could be salvaged. I sat beside her in therapy, listened to her sobs, apologies thick with guilt. I held her hand, wiped her tears, all while quietly orchestrating her collapse. I began compiling evidence. Reckless texts, overlooked emails, photos she hadn't erased, receipts left like breadcrumbs. She never imagined I'd look. She assumed I'd take the blow and move on. But I didn't. Called an attorney. Nearly all major assets were under my name, arranged before suspicion had even crossed my mind. Prenup rock solid. But the final move, that was the masterpiece. His name was Matt. Her coworker. Married. I never approached him directly. Too simple. Instead, I sent his wife everything, neatly compiled, completely anonymous. Let her handle him. Then I waited. The night I'd prepared for came quietly. A Saturday. I suggested hosting a dinner with close friends, something cozy. Hannah jumped at the idea. She thought I was trying healing. She wore her go-to dress, prepared her signature dish, smiled perfectly as guests arrived. She had no clue she was balancing on the edge of a knife. Halfway through the evening, laughter swirling around us, glasses clinking, I stood with a toast. To new beginnings, I said, raising my glass. Hannah smiled and echoed. To new beginnings. And to honesty, I added, voice calm, steady. Her smile wavered for a heartbeat, but she covered it quickly. I let the pause linger. There's something I'd like to say, I began, still holding my drink. A little story about love and betrayal. The room fell silent. All eyes turned toward me, curious. Hannah's face drained of color. She tried to speak, but I lifted a hand. Let me finish, I said evenly. The woman I gave a decade of my life to kept secrets. While I worked to build a future, she explored alternatives. I turned toward her. But don't worry. I've handled it. The legal papers are filed, the finances secure, and your affair is no longer hidden. Matt's wife sends her regards. A cold fog of silence settled over the room. Friends looked away, shocked, ashamed. Hannah crumbled, her face collapsing under the weight of truth. Tears returned, frantic and hollow. But I felt nothing. She had already made her choice. Our friends left soon after, murmuring awkward goodbyes into the chilly evening. Hannah tried to speak, to beg, to justify herself, but I was done listening. When she finally packed up and left, I felt neither anger nor sorrow, only stillness. It wasn't the ending I once imagined, but it was the one she chose. Alone in the quiet house, the calm night pressing in gently around me, a sudden clarity struck. I was free. Free to rebuild, free to rediscover, free to find someone who truly understood loyalty.